2, 3. All right. So we'll call to order the joint meeting of the Sykesville Valley Fire and Rescue, Western Ambulance District, and the Western Lane Fire EMS Services. Authority.
Yeah. So let's rise to the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Director Yesney.
Here.
Director Russell. Yes. Director Farnsworth.
Here.
Director Webb. Director Murphy.
Here.
Director Policey.
Yes.
Director Spade.
Here.
Director Hickson.
Here.
Director Green.
Here.
Director Burns.
Here. Western Fire.
Director Yesney.
Here.
Director Farnsworth.
Here.
Director Green.
Here.
Director Hickson.
Here.
Okay. And next we have approval of the agenda. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Anything to come off or add or questions on the agenda? And if not, can we have a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. I guess we'll roll call the boards real quick.
Director Policey.
Yes.
Director Spade.
Here.
Director Hickson.
Here.
Director Green.
Here.
Director Burns.
Yes.
You can't have a motion and a second from the same side.
You guys go ahead. You want to go?
I make a motion. You motioned it, didn't you?
No, actually.
Yeah,
You have to make your own
You
motion.
can't do that.
Second.
We need to, or all,
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion for roll call vote for form.
to approve the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, we don't know. I'll catch up here in just a second, I swear. I'd like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second the motion. Motion.
Okay. All those in favor? I'm not going to do roll call. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved for tonight's Fire.
Okay, Western Lane.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Okay. Do a quick roll call vote, please.
Director Yesney.
Yes.
Director Russell. Yes. Director Farnsworth.
Yes.
Director Murphy.
Yes.
So also West, we need to do the third entity as well.
Yes.
So for Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
There, first or second, roll call approval vote, please.
Director Yesney.
Yes.
Director Farnsworth.
Yes.
Director Green.
Yes.
Director Hickson.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move to public comment, and this is a joint public comment for all three districts. Opportunity to speak to the boards, and a maximum time for public comment would be 30 minutes total. 3 minutes be allotted to each speaker. Does anybody wish to address the boards?
Come on, Woody.
I'm here as ex officio for the city.
Okay, excellent. Okay. And we'll close the public comment with no one speaking. Okay, Nana, I don't know if you're up to the minutes.
Yeah. Okay, review for the monthly financials. That's what's next on my list.
Oh,
Should be approval of the minutes.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes? I'm assuming everyone's had a chance to read them. And are there any questions about the minutes or any changes anyone would like to make?
I move for the approval of Sykesville Valley Fire and Rescue minutes from November 21st, sir.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of approval of the minutes for the November 21st. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, so Western Lane Ambulance District, we have the same regular meeting on November 21st, 2119. Approval of the minutes. Any questions or comments? Barney, can we have a
I
motion?
have
Oh,
one
okay.
correction maybe. Did Director Russell vote for the PERS funding at the end?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's a correction then to the record. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for Western Wayne Ambulance District with that correction.
That correction. I'm sorry, I want to go back and I read it and I can't remember how that was worded. Did it read that Cindy approved originally or?
I think she initially voted no, and then you changed.
Yes, I changed my vote.
Okay, so it's going to reflect a change in vote. Okay. All right, with that correction, any other comments, changes, or additions, deletions? Hearing none, could we entertain an approval of those minutes? A motion.
I need a motion to approve with that correction.
Okay,
And I
we have a
second.
first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Gesney?
Yes.
Director Russell?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Murphy?
Yes, and I did watch the meeting online.
All right.
Got it.
Approval of the minutes from Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority. I think with the noted correction. Any questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll motion to approve the minutes for Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority.
Second.
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Gesney?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Dixon?
Yes.
Okay, we're on to review monthly financials.
And we don't have Dina here. She is out sick this week, but my staff is more than happy to answer any questions you might have about the financials, if there are any questions.
Well, I can comment that I met with Dina and she's going to have a new format for us on the LifeMed profit and loss statement. It'll be on an Excel spreadsheet. She didn't have a chance to do it, it looks like, because she was sick, but she's got great ideas, so we're looking forward to that next month.
I think in general, we're pretty much on track, both on all three agencies. Looking really good.
I got a couple of comments, but let's, anybody on Western Lane, any comments or questions? And we'll include the transaction list in that review as well. I have a question on the Mapleton Covered Bridge for 48.
That's the name of a company, it's not,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
We went over that
That
before.
comes up every year.
Sorry. Yeah, I keep forgetting.
No, I had the same question. What is this? What is
It's a bridge too far.
Covered Bridge, what do we? A bridge too far. Let's see.
Sean Connery was in that.
Yeah.
And I had a question on property and liability insurance.
That's
Which is on
GIS.
page 31. And it shows no balance, but I saw a big balance in prepaid insurance. Yeah, this probably, I don't know if you can answer this, or if this is a Dina question. But I wondered if it seemed like we made a payment annually on that, like it's a one-time payment.
I think that's what that is. That's why we haven't paid anything, but we budgeted for it.
Okay. So if it's prepaid, but it covers this fiscal year, we probably ought to be writing it to expense like 1/12 a month or something like that. Because it's up in account 1305, and it looks like that's what that is. There's a prepaid insurance expense, but but there's no insurance expense down on account 7510. Which has a budget of 27,000.
Yeah.
couldn't even answer this.
Okay. And then the IGA on line 7600, same page 31. I think we've got it budgeted somewhere else. Maybe at line 5300 up on page 30. So that's something just to look at if we need to move that expense to the budgeted line item.
Well, one's, that's materials and services, and one's for personnel services.
Yeah, I don't see do we not have a budget for the materials and services?
That's the 7,600.
I got 84,150.
That's materials and services.
Yeah, and no budget though. So maybe.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah, maybe we're separate, we just need to break the budget out or something.
Yeah.
So it would appear like the budget amount at line 5,300 would include the number down below.
Yeah.
So it needs to be split.
Either all goes to one or the
Yeah.
budget needs to be
It's
split.
like split or.
Is it right? And I think that's it. Anybody else? Any other questions on Western Lane? Okay. Turn it over to Soisa Valley.
Any questions on the SC4?
I don't see any.
Not for me.
This time.
All right, so then Western Line Fire and EMS Authority, respective board, had a chance to review the financials. Any discussion or questions? The transaction list is there as well.
Get a motion to approve the financials.
So moved.
Second.
Can I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Director Flacy?
Yes.
Director Spade?
Yes.
Director Hickson?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Burns?
Yes.
Just an administrative question. So I know that historically we approved the transactions. Are we making a motion to approve all financial statements as part of our action?
That's our recommendation, that's entirely.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that was
So understood. in my motion.
due last week, or gone last week, I guess, or last month, I missed that. So. Very good. Then I guess we'll look at the review of the Western Lane Fire EMS. Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve those financial statements.
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote for approval, please.
Director Yesney?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Hickson?
Yes.
Okay, and approval of the Western Lane Ambulance District financials. Any further questions or a motion to approve?
Move we approve the financials for Western Lane.
Okay, we have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, first and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Yesney?
Yes.
Director Russell?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Murphy?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like next we have, under new business, we have a prevention of discriminatory harassment and retaliation policy for all three districts.
All three districts. This is Senate Bill 749, which came down not too long ago, has specific language that each agency has to put into their harassment policy. So originally, we were going to just use what was given to us by SDAO. They had a recommendation. Our intent is to switch over to Lexipol, and Lexipol does have an up-to-date harassment policy. It includes all the language required by Senate Bill 749. So I'm going to be talking more about Lexicon in general during my report, but at this point, just for this policy, it has to be in place January 1, 2020. So we would like to use the same policy for all three agencies. Right now, WLFEA is using SBFR policies, and then Western Lane has their own policies. But again, our intent is to all go to one policy for all three agencies. So that's why I brought forward this one.
Are there anything agency specific that would need to be included in that, or is it pretty much a general sort of blanket?
It's just general,
that applies there?
It does mention it's Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority. So at some point, the boards are going to have to agree that that is okay for their policies. We don't have to have it that way where it says, but we can have it say, Saginaw Valley Fire and Rescue or Western Lane Ambulance District. Our account is in Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority name, but it's easy to change that. But I think our intent would be to have one set of policies that apply to all three districts. There may be policies which only apply to one of the districts, and we would keep it that way, but I can't think of any on the top of my head.
Well, I mean, it makes sense moving forward for how many folks who are sort of doing time here, working in both agencies, if we just keep everything the same. So there's not, well, if I'm over here, this has this policy and that has that policy.
Correct.
I think you should separate them and have the name for each entity on their own for insurance and liability personal purposes if a claim ever comes up.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think we can approve them at the same time, but you'll need to have some record keeping with separate names on each one.
Let's really do that.
You only need that at the lawsuit. The hearing. But you need it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that the boards would have to identify that this was correct.
Right.
We can certainly put in different names.
So tonight, each district will be voting, we'll be adopting the same policy, just with a different.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I do have a question, Chief, on this. Under 1017.7 training, page 45, is that training through Target Solutions, or is that training live in person with a staff representative?
There's a Target Solutions portion that we have for that. We are also conducting a hands-on because it's a policy. The policy will be covered with all personnel before it rolls out.
And everybody signs, wet signs?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Through Lexicon, you have to acknowledge that you
Right.
understand and you can have the opportunity to ask questions.
Thank you.
I don't think.
So we're just waiting for approval by the three boards.
On behalf of Western Lane Ambulance Board, I'll make a motion to approve what's identified as policy number 1017, discriminatory harassment, be included in our policies and procedures.
Second?
First and a second, any further discussion?
And this would be to replace the current policy.
Correct.
So roll call vote, please.
Director Yasny?
Yes.
Director Russell?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Murphy?
Yes.
And can I get a roll call vote for approval on policy 1017 Western Lane Fire?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
One second.
And this will be replacing our current policy?
Correct.
A roll call vote, please.
Director Lacey?
Yes.
Director Spade?
Yes.
Director Hickson?
Yeah.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Burns?
Yes.
On behalf of Western Lane Fire and EMS Authority, I'll make a motion to approve the discriminatory harassment policy 1017. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Harrison. Roll call vote, please.
Director Yasny?
Yes.
Director Farnsworth?
Yes.
Director Green?
Yes.
Director Hickson?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to move to staff reports and start with the chief's report.
Thank you. Just let you know that, of course, next week is Christmas, we know that, but the office will be open on Tuesday and Thursday. Normally, we let staff pick one of the days, but since Christmas is the middle of the week, half the staff wants Tuesday off, half wants Thursday off, so we're gonna keep the office open on both days, so it works out for us. And so I was just given, John Scott gave at Rotary, I guess the Urban Renewal Board is looking for new members, and I guess he gives preference to, I think he said fire department board members. So if you would like to be on the Urban Renewal Agency board, I have the application down in my office. Happy to give it to you. I don't know what the term is. I don't know when they meet or what they do. But, I think it does impact the fire department as well as the ambulance district. I don't know if they're looking for ambulance district.
Did somebody resign from?
I think John's turn is up.
Okay.
John's been serving since he was a director, and I think his last term on FURA began right before the end of his term. But he still is on the board, but they're coming up on their ending tenure, so.
He no longer lives in the city. I think definitely not in the urban renewal area.
I think, I'm not certain, but I think that they're also looking for, when they're talking about urban renewal, they're also interested in the fire code. And that aspect of fire prevention, that's what they would say.
And they just did mention fire, so I mean, it's not a requirement, but you're certainly given preference, so you probably have, good chances you'll be selected. Hearing none.
No, I'll look into it,
Oh, good.
okay?
Fire code.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
it's what I did for how many years?
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
this urban renewal, it's through the city, correct?
Yes.
Yes. It's a city committee that makes decisions about
Which is defined or
It was actually a
within that district.
freestanding body of the city.
I'll throw my name in and see what happens.
Great.
I gotta clear with the war department first.
See me for the application.
Well,
If you,
thank you.
if you go to the City Forum's website and go to their committees,
Mhm.
they've been releasing press releases all week about different committees they need, and they need lots of different people. One of them is the Bureau Committee, and there's a description on there about
What
the time
the-
commitment, what the
I'll-
responsibilities are, all that stuff.
You don't live in the city, do you?
Oh, no, I don't. I don't live in the city.
But you represent.
You don't have to live in the
fire
city.
department.
It's just you're representing the fire.
The district.
Oh, okay, I'd be representing the fire district, not
I
as.
think they prefer that people live in, but I don't know about the fire department, so you may be okay. So,
Well, like, for example, I serve on the transportation committee, I don't live in the city.
Yeah, he lives around the corner.
and there's a contact info if you have residency questions. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Four special districts represent, I think it's four, fire, Western Maine, it's the library district, and
School, no, library, fire,
and,
might be a school.
schools.
Port.
The port. Four special districts.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for a kid's.
Just to note, Director Webb is a representative for Western Lane.
Okay.
So he's just, I think he was just renominated in July
Okay.
of this year.
So you remember last meeting, we had a big discussion about PERS and the site account. And it was Monday, it was due December 2nd, and Nina went on and submitted her information, and they ran out of money by Monday afternoon. So we are on a standby list. We put $150,000 into the site account. I think we're number 26. So they went through $85 million. And that's just matching. That's just the 5%. So we are, like I said, on a standby list. I don't know. I haven't heard how quickly they're going to go through that. It may be at the end of how people want to put their funds in. So at some point, the board will have to decide whether they want to put that, Director Webb was saying, into a specific account. And the intent, I think, of the state is to have additional opportunities to get those matching funds. So that may be something that we can take part of in the future committees for both agencies, all three agencies, to get that committee to meet again and discuss how we want to implement Lexipol, how we want to do a review process, who reviews the policies. I would definitely like to have some employee and volunteer input. Do we know who's on the policy committees?
As well. Yeah. Well, you and Mike.
I think it's Mike and myself. Was it Ned and Ron?
I think so. I think it was the policy committee. The old,
I'm staying quiet.
You can, yeah, I think I can reappoint or whatever. So we're not, I mean, we're still in the process of getting the policies here, but I mean, I would like to start setting some ground rules, how we want to roll that out. And like, do we want separate names on all of them, which sounds like we do. So we can do that. So we will be contacting the policy committee here to set up some meetings.
if anybody, I guess the board members, if you and Mike are on now.
If anyone else would like to serve, that would be fine.
They're good.
Yeah.
Have an interest in serving. Is that what you're saying? No.
It's a pretty easy,
Do you have an interest?
committee. It's pretty easy. It's a pretty light footprint.
Figure it out.
When you say Lexipol, Chief, does that mean that we just take our existing policies and put it in their database, or are we switching to their policies?
It'll be a little of both, but predominantly their policies.
Okay, so like when we get ready to change to theirs, can we get a change version submitted to the policy committee so we can read the changes in advance?
That would be the purpose of, yeah.
Yeah, so we can, if we do homework before we meet, then we can see, there may not be a lot to do if the changes are seamless, but.
I can't confirm that it'd be,
We
guarantee that it'd be seamless, but, I mean, these are all, meet state law, federal law.
I assume you'll be combining where you can, like tonight, if you put the policies, rewriting them together too, so they're the same between
That
all
would
the
be
districts.
our goal, is to have one policy, just the only difference would be the names of the agencies.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Okay, and Chief Dickerson, you gonna give the ops report tonight?
All right, operations report. As you can see from page 1, there's not a drop in calls at all. November fire was up 32 from last year. Total call volume on Western Lane side was up 31, so we usually see an expected drop around now, but not. We did have a drop in the number of actual fires that we had, which is good for our prevention. But jump up in the rescue and the other calls, as where 911 response and transports was even. Transfers were up 26 from last year for the month of November, which is a pretty big jump. Matt and I are taking definite steps to looking at that and seeing what's going on. Year to date, total calls on the EMS side, 206 over. Total calls on the fire side is 182 over. On the fire side, that is a marked jump. That's 622 from last year to 804 this year at the start of December. We're pushing almost 90 calls for the month at this point. So Chief House and I were both talking about doing a year to date, like this is where we're jumping, this is why we're jumping, things like that. After that, there's a mobile integrated healthcare report. Go ahead.
We were both talking about the rescue and EMS, which I think is what you were referring to.
Yes.
They went so much, and is there a way to break that down between rescue and EMS? Is there a jump into one versus the other?
So rescue and EMS is anything that underneath the fire column is anything that we roll out onto a system medic. So that's going to be MVAs and difficulty breathing, your severe calls, difficulty breathing, shortness of breath, chest pain, CPR. I can break those out. There is a way to break those out.
But they're all joint within, so
Yeah.
that's why it's slash EMS. Got it. Okay. A little slow, but I got it. Okay, so that's a great kick up in volume.
Just a point of interest. if the districts are ever going to talk to merge in the future, that is one of the things I'm going to want to see is the EMS calls, how many times the fire side has touched a patient or helped assist, saved a life, or offered something to a medical patient.
So actual patient contact?
Yes.
I can say without any realm of incorrectness, I would say 80% of those calls were actually having.
That's going to be something the taxpayers.
Yeah, they're having full patient contact. In fact, multiple calls now. We're getting our unit person on scene if it's on the north end of town.
I'd say every one of those calls is pretty much.
I mean, that's because we're always touting that we have better services now, so we're going to have to show people what our better services actually are. We need to show that people get better care on emergency response or call by having a joint district.
So rescue EMS calls for the fire department are just the serious calls. So those are the ones that.
I understand, but we need to be ready to present that to the public if you're ever going to talk merger.
One thing I noticed is there's an increase in the 911 response with no patient transport.
Those are lift assist.
Lift assist, okay. 911 calls for lift assist?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, it comes through West.
It had to be dispatched out.
Oh, I see, I get you, okay.
And that is something operationally we're looking at figuring out a way not to have a fully stocked ambulance run on that. There's a way that we can run a lower.
Right. I was wondering if we had a propensity for 911 calls that were not appropriate. You know, just people calling 911 because the cat's in the tree.
Not to be give direct Farnsworth, but this is America. People call 911 if they can't shoot or put it in jail.
Right.
So there you go.
Right.
The calls like that, the nuisance calls are lower. There are a lot of falls that we're responding to, but the cats in the trees, usually they come in on non-emergency and we'll call the duty chief, and the duty chief can say, well, there's not a lot of cat skeletons in the tree, ma'am, but we'll send somebody out to look if there's time.
Okay, so this is, you feel that this number is a true number, in other words, it's truly an increase.
Those are all truly increased numbers. There's
Great.
very few canceled in routes.
Okay.
That is incredible.
Chief Dickerson, can we attribute why? I mean, in all the different categories with the significant increases, it's obviously not just population, it's not just tourism, or maybe it's all the above, but why are we seeing the increases?
The increases, I would say, with the fire department, the increases we're now going on EMS calls, which we should be. We should be helping out and getting our people on those calls. And a lot of those calls we can handle and not tie up an ambulance. People are paying taxes with the big red truck. Let's get somebody out there to help them. That is the jump on the fire side. We've actually added to our services, so we're doing more services. On the EMS and fire side for the total calls, like the total call volume for fires, 64 for the total year versus 49. Yeah, we thought this year was going to be just a blockbuster wildland year with the weather we had. We thought we would be turning and burning on wildland fires. We only had 4. Now, the amount of those calls, the actual fire calls that were false alarms, things like that, is markedly lower than it was. We've actually had fires this year. I'm not blaming anything on that. It might be the age of the buildings, electrical code changes, things like that. General population change. There's all kinds of things that can factor in. That's something that Chief House and I were talking about reviewing for the next operations packet, was a kind of a rundown on the calls and where we think the market increases are from and what it is. We didn't run that for this one in general. I just know we turn a lot more tires on both sides of the house.
Be curious to know if there's specific areas where we tend to get more calls, whether it's areas where buildings are older, maybe less newer development, or those kinds of things. Is there other specific areas where we seem to be having more calls than others?
We have more fires in the Station 1 and 2 districts than anywhere else, but it's also our population center, so that could be a skewed statistic.
Yeah.
Were a lot of these human related, or are they broken down into subcategories of, illegal burn, somebody, welding in their garage, not paying attention? Is there anything that could have been done from an educational standpoint that could drop these numbers?
We're also looking into that. I've got Captain Miller working on a review of that at this time. But I could say that of the fires, I would say very few were natural causes.
Chief Dickerson, along those lines, I wonder if the boards, so this report, the year is through December. Our fiscal year is June, but this is
This is a year to date.
a calendar year.
Yeah, calendar year.
I wonder, once we have December, could you and Chief House get together and maybe do a breakdown of, and I'm going to throw this out there, what the boards would like to see, but certainly that 9/11 response no patient detail on that one. And then on the fire side, do you want to see the rescue EMS broken down a little bit, and then the one below that, the other? Yeah, I'm kind of hearing people want to see a little detail of why the changes, and maybe we ought to get some, we can get a full year report that way into it in January.
Absolutely, we can do that. We both run the same image trend reports, and we can pull the same data. It's some of the data sheets, when I pull actual individual calls, because they go in by NIFRS code or by the EMS code, there's around 1,200 NIFRS codes and around 300 EMS codes, so that report gets lengthy.
Yeah.
But we can draw that down and really highlight some of the major areas and maybe some age group demographics, things like that.
Compared to last year.
Absolutely.
Great. Is that, the boards like to see that?
Yeah, definitely. And even on the rescue piece, if that can be broken down even further to how many of those were motor vehicle accidents requiring extrication, you know, time on call where it's draining the resources because you have an extended extrication.
Absolutely, I'm more than happy to run that. It will be a longer ops report
I'm
next
sure
month
it will.
than we're used to. We've done our best to cut it down so I didn't mumble so much.
Just like, you know, Director Murphy's saying, if somewhere down the road, there's going to be questions from the community, we can, you know, say, hey, this is why. You know, we're getting an uptick in vehicle accidents where there are, you know, high impact crashes, where there's a longer extrication time, where fire's assisting EMS, EMS is assisting fire on whatever. You know, justification in numbers, I guess would be a good way to put it.
Agreed.
But that is a really significant climb for a community and district of this size.
Jim, can I ask a question here? The totals that fire year to date in column, the first column there for 2018, 622 is the total of those three numbers below it.
Should be, yes.
It's
math wrong.
For 2019, it's way off.
Yeah, it was creative math.
It is way up. I will look into that. That is way up. That number should be closer to 900.
940.
940.
Yeah. More
It's
close.
even a bigger increase.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I forgot to include the fires when I was adding that. Thank you for pointing that out. That's great. There's a mobile integrated healthcare report that's broken down a little better. I think that's what the board had asked for on that. Everything looked good on that. There's beautiful graphs and color and everything.
I think Jason Hawkins was just talking to me the other day. He said he's getting a lot more money for that program now too. It's really great.
That's an excellent thing. On the
So could you, the only thing I would like to see added to the graph, and I'm sure others might too, is that could we just have a better description about, looks like palliative care, EMS, ED, just, is there any other information that could be given here about what's happening like in this particular care?
Would you like a definition of what DCED, EMS, and
Yeah, I mean,
palliative are?
I'd like the clinical definition if there is
Okay.
one, yeah.
Easily taken care of.
Thank you.
As far as training for both districts, we are rocking and rolling. On the fire side of the house, firefighter Roscoe and I put 32 certifications for firefighters in today. And I know that Rob Chance on the Western Lane side of the training is well into the NRAMT recertifications and working with that. Just tons and tons of hours coming from staff and volunteers that are really pushing ahead and making this a great district to work in. Target Solutions platform is working. We're looking at some different options with that to get some better training out. And all the documentation is being re-gone through on the Stanislaus Valley side and correcting some errors that were made in the past. I also included the combined fire and EMS for Stanislaus Valley training schedule for the next year. It's not the same as it was last year. And there is a report from firefighter Roscoe and I guess training commander Chance is what we go by. Those are both included. Also what the day crew was doing for logistics. We were extremely busy. We placed the new foam systems in service in 1, 3, 5, and 8. We had expired foam that's been replaced. We're good to go, so we can spray foam at a fire now. 2 people had their fire officer 1 completed, the paid staff, and we had 4 on the volunteer staff complete that. We had a nice big final burn with the Recruit Academy, and all those batteries that we paid for at Herman Peak have been installed, and the county came up and made sure that we got those all online and we're looking good. So everything's back up and running at Herman Peak. Great. Lots of maintenance, and then those reports are listed. And then finally, the Lord Severance did a CST and MCR report. They are rocking and rolling. That program's really leaning out. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. CST tap outs for 3. 3 for code 100s, which is a deceased patient, 1 code 99, which is a CPR in progress, and 1 fire. They were the MCR was called out for 2 calls for homeless issues and 1 mental health crisis. So lots of hours, total hours on training for all that was about 29 for the MCR members. So programs coming together well. They have their vehicle. They got the vehicle that used to be owned by LCSO SWAT. So if you see a big blacked out expedition rolling around town, that's the MCR. We put a nice sticker on the side of it so it doesn't look that scary.
So this started, I think the MCR started in November, and how's December? Has it been, the call, there's been significant, more than 3 calls in December?
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's just the last half of November. We went live mid-November. I think it was like the last week or 2 weeks. It's been steady. It's 3 or 4 calls a week at least.
Great.
3 or 4 calls a week, and we're also having Lori meet with a lot of the other groups. Police department, obviously Western Lane SPFR, know about it, but she's also meeting with some of the other groups that are in the area, so we can get good tap out.
This training report is one of the nicest I've seen throughout my career. And it's clear, concise, to the point. Nice job.
I will let firefighter Roscoe know that you approve it.
There's another department that should take a look at this.
Great, thanks for that report. And we have
I
office manager.
I just have one quick question for training. Do you see any potential training equipment that's going to be needed in next year's budget to increase this training and safety for all personnel, both fire and EMS?
There is one thing that we're looking at. It's called One Resource. One Resource goes by the IFSTA manuals and some of the EMS manuals. It's similar to Target Solutions, but it's much more dialed in onto the most current and most developed programs, so that we can do a lot more hands-on training.
Great.
And use a lot more of the interactive learning. Personally, I like to keep my classroom time at a minimum. People only like to listen to my voice for so long before they fall asleep and or get interested in something else. So if we can get them out on the fire ground, throwing ladders, or actually dealing with doing CPR, working with some of the mannequins and doing live skills, I think we get a better student, I think we get a better response, and I think it's better overall. So that's something that we're looking at. There will be an increased cost with that, but as far as training props, On the Western Lane side, I know we're looking at some new equipment, mannequins, which are not inexpensive, but
Yeah.
I think they're an excellent tool. On the fire side, we get by, cobbling some stuff together.
Well, I'm a firm believer, the more training, the better. You know, we always say train like your life depends on it, because it does. And especially from the EMS component, if we can make sure that they have everything they need to keep their people up and running and a safe operation, because nobody wants any staff to go down because of lack of training. And with this new program, can we break down the hours so when or if the agencies ever go out for additional grants, we can show up front how many hours we're spending and why we need it?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's great. Any other comments? Okay, we have the office manager's report listed here, but Dina's not here tonight, so I don't know if there's anything you want to say.
I do not have anything, I don't know if she's passed anything.
Not without her being here.
It's the perfect time to talk.
Perfect.
Good. Okay, we'll move on. Want to say anything about the thank you letter there, Chief? Nice, very nice.
Yeah, too.
There's 2 letters, and there was a donation for Tony. And, yeah, Tony did some great work with installing some smoke detectors, which is always helpful for people. And this is not like he did it once. I mean, he does a lot of these. It's just very nice that one person did recognize him with a nice card.
Pass our congratulations and thanks along.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there anything any directors like to bring up that's not currently on the agenda?
I do. Just as the agencies are growing, we know your people are swamped. Is there any way we can get the website updated, the fire department one? And probably even the ambulance one, because when it shows a former fire chief is on the cover with staff and that.
Yes. We don't go to the website very often, but yeah, no,
I
absolutely.
mean, I
It
think
should
it
be.
can be consolidated and show, just that as the agency's progressing, so should our website. And that if I was a webmaster, I would do it, but I don't know how to do that stuff.
Yes, we do have somebody that does that for us, but that's a good point.
And a link to our ordinance, when our ordinance is done, can we make sure that all of that is there so the public can?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to filibuster for probably about another 45 minutes. No, I'm not. I don't want Gene there.
I was going to bring up the SDAO conference. Mary could use some guidance about who's going to be there, which nights they're going to be there, so that we can minimize our hotel expense. I want to mention from my perspective that if you haven't been to SDAO, it's a great opportunity. And the Thursday session is for new directors. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? I was going to recommend that if you haven't been to SDAO before, that it's a great opportunity to go. And on Thursday, that's the pre-conference session. Those are classes and sessions that are really good for first-time directors, and they have a lot of great information there. There's sessions each day as you look at the handout that's been given to us, and there's great sessions that can be attended and are very helpful. Some of us will plan to leave on Saturday, some will leave on Sunday, some will arrive on Wednesday, some will arrive on Thursday, so we can share with Mary our plans. We can tighten up our hotel expense, because right now she has the entire block, the entire week block for us, so we can manage that better.
Yeah, I encourage anyone who can go to go. I've been to a couple of them, and every time I learn a lot of stuff. Yeah, things that are going to be coming up, things you should know that are currently happening, everything from legislation to policy changes to how to conduct a meeting. It's a really great opportunity to learn a lot of things.
And where is the conference?
Director Murphy?
Yes, fellow directors, I would like Western Lane Ambulance District to start the process to terminate the IGA with Siuslaw Valley Fire and Rescue, as they no longer offer or provide us any administrative services.
That's the original, the old IGA. Not the new one.
Yeah, the IGA with Siuslaw Valley Fire and Rescue.
So I was reading that today. It says that any of the agencies can terminate with 18-month notice.
But I just don't think it's needed, and there's no need for either department to have it.
And I contacted our attorney today to see, do we have to wait 18 months now that we give notice? But I should have got back to me yet.
And I had stopped and mentioned this to the chief ahead of time, so.
Should get back to you 17 months from now.
I would certainly think that if both boards agree to it, that there's no reason to wait 18 months.
Although it doesn't include anything other than fire chief and ops manager.
Might be good just to clean, maybe in the next meeting, we just have a resolution to terminate.
Resolve, yeah.
You know, have legal.
I should have information quickly by that time.
That'd be great. Good idea. Thanks. Any other director comments? Okay. So future agenda meetings back to the fourth Thursday, January 23rd at 6 o'clock. Anything else for the, do we have the executive session for us?
I think we can just
It's
announce it.
listed there.
Pursuant to ORS 192.660.2 regarding labor negotiations, we'll be holding an executive session at the end. Close of this meeting, media will not be allowed in because this is a labor negotiation discussion. And we will not be re-adjourning after that executive session is ended.
Do you want to meet here or downstairs again?
There's a lot of us here, we should stay here.
Well, of course, all the toys are downstairs, so.
I can hear better downstairs.
Yeah, I like downstairs better.
Take a quick break, okay?
Okay.
So I guess, yeah, we can adjourn this meeting, right? 1, 2, 3.
We're gonna have to get a third gavel because Ron's.
I know, yes.